What's up, guys, and welcome to the Underground Pub Show, episode 54, here on the PippyK Multiverse Network. My name is Schreiber, here as always with Bobo and CJ, and our producer, Kenny. Yeah, we are live now, bro.
Oh, shit.
Thank y'all very much for tuning in for episode 54 tonight. We've got, obviously, a lot to talk about. But, first off, gentlemen, how y'all doing this evening? Bobo, doing all right? You look like you had a pretty good dinner tonight, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Feeling a lot better than I was about 20 minutes ago.
That's good. It's always good to be doing better.
Yes.
CJ, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good. I didn't know we were live.
Yeah, we're live. CJ's slurring a little bit, so we know that we're in for a good show tonight.
What's up, Internet?
What's up, Internet? And, Kenny, how you doing over there, buddy?
I'm here.
He's here. All right, cool. So anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started with the show. I don't really know where to begin. It's been a lot has happened throughout this entire week since we were last on the show. I guess we start with the obvious, right? The Iron Bowl. Is that what we're going to start with?
What? What bowl?
The Iron Bowl.
That one game that happened.
What was that about?
That's about Alabama losing.
They were supposed to win by 21 points. What happened?
They didn't.
You tell us.
Auburn's defensive line's good.
Yeah,
I mean, like, surprisingly good. I'll be honest, I haven't watched any college football this year, and I watched a lot of that game, and their defensive line was just owning Alabama, and Hurts was running for his life the entire time. I was surprised.
Alabama's offensive line also played pretty poorly, I thought, in that game. I mean,
they sucked. They were terrible.
Yeah, I've said it a lot, actually, throughout this year. I don't know how much I've said on the show, but a couple weeks ago when I was watching them play Mississippi State, I thought they looked the offensive line looked pretty poor in that game too. And no, I mean they didn't protect their quarterback at all. They didn't protect their or they couldn't make holes for the running back.
No holes.
No holes. No.
People blamed him though for everything.
Who,
well,
Jalen
he
Hurts?
should be better for the
Bama
offensive
fan
line.
did.
Oh yeah, I mean everybody, Bama fans, they were all immediately looked right to Jalen Hurts. And don't get me wrong, he didn't play a great game by any means necessary, but it was that whole loss was just a team effort.
Well, you know, the thing is Alabama, they're just not used to losing, so their fans just didn't know how to react. Like, a lot of them were just dumbfounded, just not knowing what to do. They're blaming everybody.
Lashing out on Twitter.
I kind of don't know why, because they seem to. I mean, they haven't gone undefeated since 2009.
I was just happy that no trees were hurt.
Trees were hurt.
Thought,
Falsehood.
No,
you see the bushes around the stadium in
oh,
Auburn.
Okay. No, I didn't see
They
any
got
bushes.
murdered.
Were they
By Alabama
Yeah.
fans?
No, an Auburn fan rushed the field, but Auburn has like a hedgerow around the field. An Auburn fan just tore through the hedges.
Really?
See, I
Yeah,
thought Alabama did that.
No, that was Auburn fan.
Well, you got to remember, like we talked about this last week. Auburn is what is the most drunk city in Alabama,
Yes.
and apparently Homeboy was ready to fucking go.
Well, it was a lot more than just Homeboy. It was a thousands and thousands of people ran through these bushes, and they're trying to jump over them or jump through them. And you see half the security people are telling everybody no, and other half are catching them as they jump into the trees. It was pretty funny. There's a very good video about it on YouTube.
I'll have to check that out.
The YouTube.
Yeah,
On
it's,
the YouTube.
a lot of fans are like, what the hell? We lost. I thought we were going to win. Roll Tide, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, there's a lot of Roll Tide M-bombs on Twitter, too,
Yeah, and Auburn fans.
about Jalen Hurst.
Yeah, they acted like they haven't won in years because they were out in force, man.
That's so crazy too, because Jalen Hurts has actually done really well at Alabama.
Well,
like,
and all of a sudden, he was the worst thing ever. I was like, wow. Such a
I
quick
I don't
turnaround.
understand it. The guy is actually, in my opinion, he's been one of the better quarterbacks that Alabama's had in a long time. The kid's a dual threat quarterback. He can run really well. I mean, it's been proven that he can throw the ball well. Is he like, a Tom Brady, like throwing the ball? Probably
They're
not.
one of
But
the better passers you guys had in a while.
I just
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
think when
I-
you
I-
force him to do that, though, it's not a part of their game. Like Alabama usually can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And you make them one dimensional like Auburn did. I mean, there's not a whole lot he could do.
yeah, no, I mean,
He's not suited to do that.
yeah, I mean, no, you're exactly right. I mean, the guy can pass the ball well, but he's, if he doesn't have the protection that he needs, he was definitely kind of set up for failure there. I mean, however, though, I will admit the first touchdown that he did throw to Calvin Ridley, that was fucking beautiful. Like, I mean, it was a great play because he was out of the pocket. He had pressure coming from two different players. Kind of basically threw a Hail Mary to Calvin Ridley. I think it was a 30, 40-something yard touchdown pass. It was beautiful, but it was pretty much downhill for Alabama. Well, it was not after that. I take that back because Alabama actually took the lead on a running play from Bo. And then after that, it was pretty much downhill for Bama since then.
Well, Auburn could have scored early, but Chet Stedman or whatever his name is, the quarterback,
Yeah.
he fumbled the ball on like the 10-yard line, and then he tried to pick it up and run instead of falling on it, which cost him 3 points. And Alabama got the ball back. Alabama just kind of sucked, and I predicted they would win by 3 touchdowns. So I was surprised that Auburn actually won.
No, before
I was not.
Yeah, I mean, you were saying last week that you were feeling pretty good about Auburn.
Just from that last game I saw Alabama play, I was like, I don't think they're going to be Auburn.
You mean the last game against a good team?
Yeah.
I mean, they played Mercer in their last game.
Oh, no, it was, well, let's just say it was the last game
Mercer's
I watched.
underrated.
Yeah. Mercer is underrated.
Yeah, they in 1 year Mercer played both Alabama and Auburn.
Mercer has one hell of an athletic science department, I think it is. I don't know where they pull their money to, but one of their departments is like amazing, and they thank all the Division I schools for paying them to play them for homecoming.
I'm sure they're pretty happy about all that.
Where is Mercer?
Is that also in Alabama?
I don't believe so. I want to say it's in. See, I don't know.
I'm
I mean,
pretty sure it's a Southern school.
Yeah, I think it's Georgia or something like
Might
that.
be.
I want to say I looked it up at one point in time, but I know it's not Alabama.
I know Eddie Mercer Automotive is on Car City.
Yeah, there is that. Before we get into
Macon, Georgia.
is
Thanks.
making sure? Okay, I see. I thought it was Georgia.
I think we asked this question last week too.
We
Yeah, I think
probably
we did
did. And I
We
think
just have a very short-term memory.
before we get into like college football, and because CJ, I know you got a lot to talk about this, and I'm with you. I'm ready to get into talking about it.
Yeah, college football.
But before we get into the shenanigans of what college football is right now, I do want to mention this, Bubba. Me and you were talking about this Saturday after the Iron Bowl. The Iron Bowl was not the only thing. That was not the only travesty that happened to Alabama. The Alabama Crimson Tide on that day. Their basketball team. Alabama actually does have a basketball team. And they were actually off to a pretty good start. They won their first 5 games. They were in the top 25 for the first time in God knows how long.
Homer
And
alert.
oh,
Homer
fuck off,
alert.
because there's actually a point to this. But it is actually a really good point. But they were off to a good start, and they lost their first game too that day to the number 14th ranked Minnesota. However, they lost after their entire bench was kicked out of the game. Another player was kicked out of the game after that, and then another player got hurt his ankle. So therefore, they finished the game with 3-on-5 against the number 14th ranked Minnesota.
it still kept
at the
it
Barclays Center.
respectable.
Yeah, lost by 5 points.
Yeah. At one point, they might even get ready to take the lead.
They
With
have
3 players, that seems
3 on
insane.
5. Well, not even just 3 on 5, but they had their full bench, so those guys could even rest. They couldn't come out for a minute and catch a breather. They had to stay there the whole time.
Yeah.
So
And supposedly they outscored Minnesota the entire time. Like it was just so. I mean, essentially, I mean, if we're looking at it that way, if Alabama would have just started those 3 players the whole game, there's a good chance they may have won. Like, and then that just been it.
how does
like,
that work? I don't watch college basketball. Like they couldn't just double cover 2 of those guys.
Well, they
you can't do
play.
that
They
in, college
yeah, they
football, or
play
basketball.
zone defense, and with the zone defense, I guess if your guys are good enough to cover to watch, I guess I don't think they're playing man. You can play man in college if you want to, but I don't think anyone really does.
That's gonna suck if you have 5 players and you lose to 3.
Oh yeah, it was
I mean,
pretty.
they-
I mean,
Or-
they
or even
almost
almost
did.
lose,
It
yeah.
it was getting pretty damn close.
Yeah, the game was at the Barclays
They
Center
were
in
running
New
fast
York.
breaks. 3 people running a fast break on 5 people. I did not even as possible, but they were
That's
doing it.
Yeah.
insane.
It's weird talking about like it feels weird talking about Alabama doing good at anything other than football. But it was in basketball of all things too. So it was
Their women's volleyball team is pretty awesome.
They do have a great
Are
women's
they?
volleyball program.
Yeah.
Their gymnastics team is pretty good, but I don't know about
Yeah,
their
I
volleyball
know they
team.
do have a good one.
Monica
it is all
Stevenson
serious.
has a lot of kills for Alabama's volleyball
Who is
team.
Monica Stevenson?
How
She's
is
one of
their
my favorite
croquet
players
team?
in college volleyball. For
You have a favorite player in college volleyball?
Yeah, it's Monica
Are
Stevenson.
you making this up right now?
I am not. There's really a girl named Monica Stevenson.
He just Googled
I'm sure
it,
there
by
is
the
a
way.
girl named Monica Stevenson out there somewhere, but I don't know if
She
she plays
plays.
volleyball.
She gets a lot of kills.
All right, so moving on. Moving
Eli
on from-
Mason said, "What's up?" By the way.
Why is she
What's up,
killing
Eli
people?
Mason?
No, that
what
means
he's
a
on.
term in volleyball when you kill.
Okay. So
What's up, Eli?
moving on from
Murder, death,
Alabama
kill ball.
outside of football. Let's bring it back to college football for a little bit. CJ, me and you were talking about this a little bit before we got here.
Yes.
So Alabama lost one game, and now they're not playing for the SEC title. There's a good chance they're probably not going to make the playoffs, which will be the first time in the playoff history of college football that Alabama won't be in it. So I mean, CJ, take it from here for a little bit. Like, this is part of the reason why college football kind of gets your goat a little bit, right? Like,
Correct. I'm not a huge fan of college football. It makes no sense. And I've talked about it on the show before. Alabama's lost one game, and they're not in the college playoffs. Auburn's
Because
lost 2.
they lost the one, because Auburn's on, it's just,
Correct, but Auburn also lost to LSU, who lost to Troy.
and Alabama beat LSU.
Yeah, and
Who
they
lo-
lost.
who
So
lost
they
to
have one.
USA.
Yeah, so they have one bad game, and then they're out. You know, and that's. I mean,
keep in mind that Auburn beat 2 number 1s.
correct, but they
No
also
one else
lost
out
to,
there has beaten a single number 1.
They lost
Auburn's
to
beaten
LSU,
2.
who lost to Troy. So it doesn't make sense to me. Whereas like UCF, they have yet to lose, and they're not even in the top 10.
They're I think they're number 14 right now.
No, I think they're 14th. They
Yeah,
haven't
I
lost
think
a
they're
game.
14. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, they haven't lost a game to Wahoo State. And
It doesn't matter. They
Wyoming
play who they
Tech.
play.
And they did, and they played them well, and they're going to get a good bowl because of it.
Yeah, and that's why I there's no like legitimate winner in college football because there's always an argument. And the fact that Alabama is number 5, they lost one game to Auburn, but Auburn lost to Clemson and LSU, who lost to Troy, who lost to USA. It makes no sense. And now, like, if Auburn plays Georgia again, which they are, and they beat them again, they're going to be in the playoffs, and Alabama's going to be left out, which is bullshit. Miami lost one game to Pitt. They're not in the mix.
They lost too late.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you
and-
lose one. Like everybody has one bad game, and it ruins their season.
But
Yeah.
you know, the funny thing is that you say that now, though. I mean, don't get me wrong, CJ. I'm agreeing with you, but Clemson is the number 1 team in the nation, and they lost to Syracuse.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma is the number 2 team in the nation.
They lost
and
to Iowa State.
Iowa State. Wisconsin's undefeated, and they're number 3. Auburn is number 4, and they've lost 2 games. One of them being to Clemson, fair enough. The other 2 being to LSU, who was shit this year. And then. So yeah, I mean, I get it. Yeah, I mean, for the record, I'm not complaining about Alabama not being the SEC championship. It's fine, fair enough. They lost the game they didn't need to lose. I mean, granted, Alabama's
It
got
could
a
be
better
any team in that spot.
Alabama's got a better record than Auburn, but it is what it is. I get it. Alabama didn't really play anybody that good this year. They really didn't. Every team they played was unranked except for Florida State, and that was when they were still ranked.
4 teams making it, man. That's BS. Like, can you imagine the old system where they're trying to like put 2 teams together right now? The shenanigans, because it would come down to Clemson and Oklahoma, and Auburn would be left out, Wisconsin would be left out, Alabama would be left out. They need to upgrade it to where more teams get in the playoffs, because right now it's stupid. There's no point to watch.
That's all completely wrong.
How is it wrong?
First off,
before you finish, Bobo, Lisa, she says, still, I won't complain. We get a good bowl game. Got to win those games and not leave it up to the committee.
It just
yeah,
sucks
fair
that
enough.
you have one bad game and you're done.
Yeah, fair
And
enough. All right.
Auburn had 2 bad games, and they're going to win. They're going to be in the playoffs.
All right. Anyways, Bobo.
Well, they
Go
play.
ahead.
That's why they play conference bowl. They play conference championships to help weed out all the suckers, and whoever wins those are the ones of the top 4 conferences get to go on to the playoffs, and that makes perfect sense to me.
Usually, and you know what? I personally, I'm in agreement with you. If you win your conference, you should go to the playoffs. But didn't Ohio State not even win the Big Ten last year, and weren't they in the playoffs?
Yeah, but someone
That's correct.
someone did something dumb. What happened? Someone
No,
lost.
it was Penn State versus somebody stupid, and neither one of them made the playoffs. And Michigan State, and Ohio State was in the top 4, and they got their asses handed
Did
to them by
Penn State
Clemson.
lose?
I don't remember. No, I don't believe they did. I think Michigan State won that game. Michigan State did win that game, and Ohio State was in the college football playoffs last year to play Clemson, and got their asses kicked. Big
I remember
time.
I figured this out why last year. I'm not going to go through all that again with that scenario.
Eli
but I do
Mason
know
says
that
it's
they
about
were
money.
right.
Well, I mean, everything is about money. You can make
Yeah.
money having a playoff system with 8 teams to 10 teams.
Yeah.
I'll never like college. Like the actual sport, the game itself, it's fine. But the whole shenanigans behind it, I will never like it. I will never, ever like college football. And this is the main reason why. And it stems from this. It stems from LSU playing Alabama in the championship a long time ago. Like,
Which even
none of
as
it
an Alabama fan, I'm in agreement with you. I
like,
didn't think that
none
was
of
right
it makes
either.
sense. And the fact that Alabama had 1 bad game, Miami's lost 1 game, and Auburn's lost 2 games, and they're in. It makes no sense.
Why-
UCF has lost no games, and
We're-
they're not even in the conversation right now.
They shouldn't be. They're UCF. They're the
That's-
Golden Knights.
yeah,
What?
hey,
I don't even know
with-
what's the
with
name of their
Blake
what
Bortles.
conference do they play in? What is that conference?
The
USA?
It doesn't
AAC.
matter. They play who they play.
The Big 2 conference. I don't know what the hell that shit
It's like,
is.
who's to say if they didn't have a playoff system, if UCF played, I'll just pick a random team on this list, Penn State, who's to say they couldn't beat them? Who's to say
they
they
might, and then they would
Yeah,
celebrate.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with CJ.
If
I mean,
you have a playoff system, it eliminates this whole argument. Like,
They
'cause-
do have a playoff system.
like a better
but it's
one.
only 4 teams.
Yeah,
It's enough.
it's not
You'd be
enough.
playing football for a fucking entire year. It's fine.
It's only 12.
is fine.
It's only a 12. I mean, honestly, for a while, I've kind of thought this too. I mean, college football, they only play 12 games a year, and then you got the conference championships after that. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if you start thinking about if there is a way to bring it to maybe an 8-game playoff system. The top 2 seeds, I think this is what me and you were talking about.
Yeah.
Top 2 seeds would get the first round bye, and you kind of start to eliminate it from there. Like, I mean, NFL teams play 16 games a year, plus you've got 4, possibly 5 more games after that. Like, so I don't know. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to expand it. And I mean, I've thought this for a long time. I'm not just saying this now, but he does make a point though, because it is a little ridiculous looking at that list. Like I think all 10 of those teams are playoff worthy in my opinion. TCU's had a good year. They could easily have a big game this weekend.
I'd love to see
TCU
them settle it on the field. Settle it on the
TCU
field.
get their ass kicked by a shit team.
Didn't Oklahoma get their ass kicked by a shit team? Like, and they're number
Didn't
2.
Auburn lose to LSU, who lost to Troy?
Yeah,
But they beat
all the-
Alabama and they beat Georgia, who are both ranked number 1.
I mean, in all honesty, maybe
Georgia's overrated.
Maybe Alabama's overrated. Like, I'll be the first to admit it. They didn't play anybody that good this year.
Well, the thing about overrated is you can't. It's the end of the season now. If you've lasted this long at number 1 and you finally lose, I mean, now you're rated what you're rated. You can't really. I don't know how like overrated after like week freaking 10 doesn't matter anymore. If you keep winning, that's where you're at.
Yeah.
Teams match up well with other teams too. You know, like a team could dominate 10 other teams, but they might not play well against another team because they have different schemes.
Yeah.
Their scheme might work against that team.
I mean,
So-
where I do disagree with CJ is, I mean, I still really like college football. I love watching it because the games are, in my opinion, are really, really exciting.
The games are fine.
But no, this shenanigans, it is. I mean, I'm an Alabama fan, and going back to 2011 when I heard we were in the national championship game against LSU, even I was like, why? Like, I mean, I remember there was a lot of things that played in. I remember I can't remember who it was, but there was some team.
there is some.
There was some team that was supposed to be there that was on some kind of probation.
Oh,
That had something to do with it.
wasn't
and-
Boise State hanging around back then too?
Yeah, yeah.
They
but-
got screwed so many times.
Boise State, yeah, especially during the Kellen Moore years, like they had some great seasons where they would lose one game and go from being a BCS contender to
the trash that they actually are now.
Yeah, like go into the Honolulu Bowl or something like that. Like
Well, that's where they belong. Look where they're at. They never
Hey, there's
improved.
nothing wrong with that whole
actually,
Honolulu Bowl.
the Kellen Moore Boise State team, they actually had some big games back then. They beat Georgia in a bowl game. They beat Oklahoma at one
Yeah.
point in time. Like
Speaking
The
of
Adrian
shit
Peterson
teams, it's kind of funny how Jimbo Fisher has yet to deny that he is not going anywhere.
yeah,
And that Florida State has actually approached the coach over at Oregon to see if there's any interest.
I've heard about that.
But Oregon upped his
Where's Jimbo Fisher looking at to again right now?
Texas A&M
Yeah.
is looking at him. It happens every year, but this is probably the longest it's gone on for. Florida State's already dropping in the recruitment rankings, and players are already starting to decommit. Players are also starting to commit to Florida, by the way, just saying. But yes, I am happy with my coach.
I was
with,
just about to
Dan-
ask you, how
Dan
do you feel
Mullen,
about
yeah.
Mullen? They're keeping the last name with M.
Moving on from all this nonsense. Yeah, Dan Mullen now, he's the coach for the Florida Gators.
I'm not going to act like people try to play off like, oh, yeah, that's my first choice. I knew that all along. I did not think that was the first choice.
I'm not
I
gonna lie,
didn't think he was
either.
going to leave Mississippi State, but then he did. And I'm like, all right, fair enough.
So do you think this is the better choice over Chip Kelly?
I will say this about Chip Kelly. He's weird, and he does weird things. And weird things happening around him.
Fair enough.
After the whole
dude.
Philadelphia thing, dude, he does some weird stuff, and weird things go down, and people, like old ex-players, say weird things about him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
California's good for him.
He's exactly. He can hang out with all the freaky people in California, and they can have a good time. I mean, I don't hate that. Obviously, he's a great college quarterback, and I think the offense would be amazing. But there's this weird thing about him, man. And as soon as I heard him, I was like, but no one's talking about the weird stuff that people always hear about and talk about. And the whole thing with Philadelphia, getting rid of everyone there, it was just really, I don't know. So I'm fine with it. I'm fine.
Fair enough, dude. What do you think? I mean, the turnaround's going to be like over at Florida right now. Like, I
Well,
mean, are you seeing 1 year, 2 years? Like
2019. Well, we're talking about like the turnaround. Well, they can probably go out and win 9 or 10 this year because they should win 9 or 10 this year. But fucking McElwain couldn't score more than 17 points a game.
Yeah.
They probably will get their 9 to 10 wins this year. I'm pretty sure. Recruiting wise, I do see the 2019 recruits falling back, decommitting, and I would too.
Yeah.
Because you're like, whoa, I don't know what's going to happen here, what type of system we're going to run with, or, well, we know what system we're going to run with, but you still
like
won't
having a
know.
blank page on your future.
You just
right
want
now.
to see what's happening. Now, 2018 people, they got a bit rough. You know, it's like they decommit, they got to find a school like soon, which a lot of them won't have a problem with that, but still, you've held on this long for Florida, you want to see what the hell's going to happen. But they're already out and about talking to people. We just flipped somebody from UCLA today.
Really?
One of Chip Kelly's
Where
players.
Chip Kelly went
Said,
to?
Yeah, he
No.
says there's more left, and the dude's like, so I've decommitted from UCLA, and I'm committing to University of Florida. That just happened a couple hours ago. So,
How about that?
and we just jumped up above Florida State in the 2018 recruiting class.
Take them where you can get them, right?
They need to, man. I mean, it's 5 years in a row they've lost to him. They got to
Yeah.
start getting. They need a quarterback, man. They haven't had a quarterback since Tebow.
It's
Yeah.
been a while.
They
Yeah,
they really
like-
haven't. I mean, I remember what was
We had Greer for a hot minute.
yeah him, but he like just kind of disappeared. Right?
No, he
Like,
plays. He got caught with the performance, like
That's
basically
right, yeah.
the semi-legal steroid stuff, the body mass builder.
The PEDs.
semi-legal
Yeah.
steroids.
Dude,
I mean, I've
Florida-
never heard it quite referred to as that.
I just want them to get somebody to make them watchable.
It
Florida's
kind of
been
makes you
unwatchable.
better. I mean, like you're not going to be like Mark McGuire.
I mean,
but,
he's not kicked out of college football. He's
Yeah.
playing for Virginia right now. So, I mean, yeah, at the time, and he could have came back to Florida, but McElwain wanted to go with fucking
Fuckboy.
Felipe instead.
Yeah, the quarterback situation in Florida was not good, man. Like,
Well, yeah.
no, let's just call it how we see it. That was not good.
No.
Like, I remember watching some of those last games that Florida had. I'm just thinking, how the fuck was this the best option that they had?
How
at that
can you
point in
even
time?
watch
Like,
those games, man? I feel like Florida's been
Well-
unwatchable for a while.
well, whenever you work at a restaurant and if people want to watch Florida Gator games, you kind of have to deal with it. But I mean, no, I mean, like I said, my dad's a Florida Gator alumni, so I would like to see Florida turn this thing around. I guess it starts with this Dan Mullen.
he did well at Mississippi State.
He did. I mean,
It's-
with
I think-
less.
I feel like it's easier to recruit in Florida than it is Mississippi State too. So,
yeah,
I mean,
in my opinion, Mississippi State several weeks ago, in my opinion, they should have won that game against Alabama. So they have a good team over there, or
That was the game I think I was watching.
that was the game.
That was it. Yeah.
They should have won that game, and yeah, obviously the guy knows what he's doing. He doesn't recruit really well. At this point in time, I mean, if you're a Florida Gator, like what the fuck else, you know,
did Mississippi State
can
get
go
in
wrong
trouble?
at this point? So
Like, didn't they have to some players get suspended and whatnot?
I'm sure they did.
No,
Happens all
just
the
Or is
time.
that Ole Miss?
Dak Prescott got in a fight on Pensacola Beach or Panama City Beach
Okay.
2 spring breaks ago. That might have been it. And there's a lot of pictures on the internet.
I
of his
thought one
bloody
of those
face.
Mississippi teams got in trouble. Maybe it was Ole Miss.
It might have been.
I don't know. I don't pay attention.
We're gonna get off of college football here in just a second, but before we do, let's do an old school underground pub show scenario real quick here. So guys, what are we thinking with the SEC championship? Auburn, Georgia, CJ, who you liking in this game?
Well, I'm always wrong, so I'll take Georgia.
I'm taking Georgia. I'm liking
Yeah.
Georgia too. I think they're gonna be out for blood.
You think Georgia gets the revenge game?
I think,
I think so. I think Georgia gets the revenge
See,
game.
now if they do get the revenge game, do you think they should go to the playoffs
Georgia?
above everybody, above the other 3 as one of the probably number
Well, see,
3
that's where
team?
it comes
I don't
in,
know. I guess
they would be the
it-
SEC champion.
Yeah.
I guess it.
Also-
I guess it depends on how the rest of the other games
Now,
go.
does Bama, if they go and only have 1 win and then Auburn has
I
3
mean,
3 losses, does Bama now get to go as well as Georgia?
Personally, I don't think Bama should go anyways because they don't win their conference.
I think it really comes down to Wisconsin versus Ohio State. If Wisconsin
I-
loses,
With it only being
then
four, with it
they
only
can
being
jump in.
with it only being 4 teams, I don't like a team being a part of that did not win their conference.
Mm.
For what it's worth, Alabama's not going to compete for the SEC title this year. I don't think they should be there. That's just me.
That's what I'm saying. They should increase the teams that get in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm agree,
I-
but I mean, considering that's not the case right now, no matter what, I mean, unless some serious fuckery happens this week,
Dude.
which is by all means possible. No, I don't think Alabama should be in there. If Georgia wins,
I really think they're going to be there, and it's going to be really funny.
yeah, I mean, that's another reason why I kind of hope Alabama doesn't
There's
make
going to
it
be
because
so much fucking
because
hate.
it's gonna make people hate Alabama even
Yeah.
more than they already do, which I didn't think was possible.
Georgia
but
will win, and Alabama will make it as the 4th seed, and they'll be insane.
I honestly don't think that'll happen, but our boy Joe from Maiden Immortal, he says if Auburn wins, Bama is out. My Buckeyes win, they're in. Okay, what you guys agreeing on that?
How
They
many
have
times-
2 losses.
Yeah.
They have a big loss to was it Iowa?
Yeah,
And
they
then
got murdered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had a big loss to Iowa.
I don't know, man. I like Ohio State. My sister went there, but
Yeah.
I don't see even if they win, they get in.
Yeah, I actually Joe, the guy I'm talking about, he's the bass player for Maiden Immortal who we had on the show one time. He actually I saw on Facebook, he said that Auburn is not even a playoff worthy team. He just exposed Bama for the hoax that they were.
So Bama was
That was a good point, by the way.
So is it basically saying that they weren't good? That this was what we saw this year was kind of like smoke and
Alabama's
mirrors.
been good for
Smoke and mirrors, that's right.
many
Yeah.
years. They're
Well, I
always
mean,
there.
yeah, they have been always good. I mean, I'm not saying the team was bad this year. They were obviously really good, but I mean, maybe there were some smoke and mirrors there.
They lost 1 game.
they
I
lost.
They
know.
lost 1 game.
That's like it's the end of the world.
No,
I-
I,
they
I'm,
lost
I'm,
a game
I'm
after
not
2
saying it's the end
years.
of the world, but I mean,
They're
where do you think it stacks up against some of these other Bama teams?
They've lost 2 games in 2 years.
No,
Yes, one of them was in the championship game.
Trust me, trust me, I'm in agreement. I think they're a lot better. I think they're a lot better than all those teams that or not all of them, but a lot of those teams that are on that list. But what I'm saying is, if they were exposed for whatever reason, I'm not going to get into all that. But if they were exposed, regardless, they're not in the SEC championship. They're not going to win it, so I don't think they should be there.
Fair enough.
Simple as that.
In all honesty, I think it's less being exposed and more they were just starting to break down. They showed it in that
You haven't used the injury excuse yet.
Well, I mean, the one thing Alabama fans and sports analysts love to say is injuries don't matter at Alabama.
they
And
don't. 'Cause they
it-
carry the depth. They have more depth
Yeah.
than any other team.
But
man.
but I mean,
Period.
when the injuries did start to happen this year, you did see things change a little bit. I'm not saying that's why they lost, but you did see a little bit of a turn there. And I mean, the New Orleans Saints, we'll get to this in a minute, is a good example right there. Did great in defense all week or all season, and then we saw what happened last week.
I mean, you lose the offensive line. I mean, that's the most important part of a team besides the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line is
for Alabama. That's what I'm
the offensive line is what ultimately really let Alabama down in that game. I feel like we've been kind of talking about this for a while, so we're gonna go ahead and move off college football. But overall, we'll see what happens this weekend. I honestly think Georgia is gonna get revenge. And I'm very interested to see what happens with Ohio State and Wisconsin. That's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, if you guys have any comments, call up 850-907-7686. You can tell me I'm an idiot for saying Alabama's going to win by 21 points. You can call up, talk about any team you want in college football. I mean,
that's what we're here for.
You can talk about Matt Lauer, the host from Good Morning, or from the NBC show, who would call ladies into his office when they came in. He would tell them to take off their shirt. He would then press a button underneath his desk that locks the door. Then he'd bend them over his desk and take them, and then send them on there. Then have his assistant clean them up and take them out after he was done.
That seems very supervillain.
And that's not me making
it's just
up.
Like James Bond supervillain.
I read the reports. That's exactly what that dude was doing.
Do you
remember? Passed out. She passed out.
Do you remember?
His aide came and picked her up and just scooted her out the office.
Do you remember that movie, Horrible Bosses, with Jennifer Aniston on them? That's what she did when she would bring Charlie.
Exactly.
She would just press that button, and then all of a sudden he's locked in there trying to get out.
That's what this dude would do.
That's
to people,
supposed to be funny,
women.
but
not in that sense. Not in the real life sense. The rape sense.
In the real life sense, it's fucking a
terrifying.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being an employee and then
that's horrible, man. That's really horrible.
So there's that.
So yeah,
what is up with
unless we get a call from that? I mean,
news reporters.
All these people coming out saying
a lot of news people are going around this assaulting women.
We talked about this a couple weeks ago too. I mean, it's been going on in the entertainment business just all around, metal bands, actors, everything. It's the big one. The big one in my neck of the woods would be that Polish death metal band Decapitated. They were on here they were on tour here recently, a few months ago, here in America, and it was actually a really big tour for them. And some girl and her friend, I guess, came on the tour bus, and one of them decided to hang around with them for a couple days. And when she left, she reported that the band had kidnapped her and gang raped her and all this shit. And to this day, the band in the middle of the tour got arrested, and they're sitting in prison somewhere in Washington State right now, awaiting trial. Polish band, and they're saying they're innocent and yada yada yada. But it's interesting, and they're where they were at. I'm not taking any sides about this, but I'm just reporting from what I've read. There's a guy that works at the venue that this show happened at, saying that this girl has cried wolf quite a few times.
Yeah.
So it almost makes me wonder. I mean, it's just speculating. Like I said, I'm not taking any sides. I don't know. And what sucks is I really like that band Decapitated too. And I'm really hoping for that matter that it's not true, because I really like that band.
Yeah, they seem like upstanding citizens.
Yeah, but at the same time, I know with a name like that, right?
I mean, if they're a good band, they should just sweep it under the rug.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I do like that band. If they're guilty of it, though, then they can go fuck themselves, and I'll sell my CDs immediately.
Who would you be the most disappointed to find out that they were like a rapist / groper?
I was asking, what celebrity would really be like, oh my God, how is that even possible? How did that happen?
Tim Tebow.
I think for me, it would
be
Tim Tebow.
That would be pretty shocking.
Tim Tebow. I mean, I think if Tim Tebow came out, I feel really, really weird talking about this on our show right now.
That dude could go to Florida and bang anybody he wants. He could go anywhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, God,
there's no need to grow.
And he doesn't even want to.
Yeah, he doesn't want to. But that's what would make him more shy. If Tim Tebow came out to be like, the words coming out of my mouth feels weird. If he came out to be somebody like that, I feel like black would turn white. The world would turn upside down. Like Stranger Things would start happening. We'd be living in the upside down world, you know. So Tim Tebow,
dogs, cats living together.
Yeah, dogs, cats living together. Tim Tebow, that would be pretty shocking. Maybe Harrison Ford, that'd be a little shocking.
I think mine would be Breeze and Mario Lopez. Like if I found out either one
Breeze,
of them,
yeah, that'd
you
be
wouldn't
shocking.
say Mario Lopez has grabbed an ass here and there.
That dude has creep written all over him.
Mario Lopez, if AC Slater was
like
bringing girls,
Slater would
he kind of look like Mario Lopez.
How could he not grab someone's ass once upon a time?
He's like back there playing drums, like grabbing someone's ass. No, if he came out and was like a big groper, I would be upset.
Remember those commercials? I think they were DirecTV commercials. Like, I'm Brad Lowe or whatever, and I'm incredibly skinny, Brad. You know,
Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe, yeah. CJ would be the creepy Mario Lopez. I'm Mario Lopez.
I'm the
CJ
overweight, creepy
I'm the
Mario
creepy
Lopez.
Mario Lopez.
That's
I like it though. I would be upset though if Lopez ended up being a groper. I would be.
is that the term we're going for with these people now? We're just that guy's
Well,
a fucking
depends what they
groper,
did.
like-
There's
That
groper.
guy's a
There's
groper.
jacking off in front of women.
Or
now, like-
self-grope.
Yeah, and then
Or
what
the
you're
grabber,
talking about,
the
like
grabber.
the
Fondler.
super
There's
villain.
between groper and grabber. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
no, there's also the.
welcome to
jerking
the
in front
Underground
of
Pub
them.
Show. This is what we talk about: groping and grabbing.
A lot of these dudes seem to do the same thing. The women walk in the office and their pants just drop, but they're still wearing their shirts. And they don't say anything. They just wait for a performance to happen. It's really weird.
I read many years ago. I read a book by the bass player of Korn, and towards the middle of the book, he talked about how there was a guy that used to work for the band who that was his only job. He would just go find chicks in the crowd and bring them backstage and basically explain to them, look, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna bang them, no questions asked or whatever. And they'd go there. They were so fucked up, or well, at least the guy that was writing the book, so fucked up on drugs. He didn't even talk to him. Like they would just walk in. He just okay, mom. And that was that, you know, and then, like they didn't really talk to him or nothing. It was really kind of fucking weird to read about. I mean, granted, I know rock stars do that kind of thing, but it's just the way he described it was very like, okay, fair enough.
Bobo, who would disappoint you? Like the one celebrity that you would like. You get on Facebook and you see a big picture of somebody groping or jerking it or whatever they're doing,
Grabbing.
like tying up women with their
Speaking
electric
of
chairs.
creepos,
Yes, it was Fieldy.
Kestro's in the chat. How can
Yeah, I
is
saw the
that?
Kessler over there. What's up, brother?
I want to hear Bobo's. Like, who do you got, Bobo?
Who do I have?
Yeah, who
Tim
would
Tebow's
disappoint?
hard to top.
Vince Scully would be kind of weird.
No.
Oh, God. See, I said
Putting you
Emma
on the spot.
Watson.
If Emma
Or
Watson's,
if it
like,
happened
groping-
to Emma Watson,
No, she's
or-
out there doing things like just putting dudes in precarious situations and just
and just throwing around HJs for like
taking
better
chicks.
jobs or whatever.
Yeah,
like-
just
I think the most fucked up thing about this whole conversation is the fact that we are having a hard time thinking of famous people that wouldn't do it.
dude, that's a great point.
Jesus Christ.
That is a great point, and I kind of hate everything about life now. But
There's
I mean,
so many that we're like, yeah, that motherfucker would do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
so sports like.
No, there,
this show.
yeah.
Eli Manning.
If he groped somebody,
they might have. That's why they're keeping
That's
it
why he
quiet.
got banned.
Maybe that's why Geno Smith's coming in with some groping going on. All right, so yeah, moving on from the
maybe he
groping,
groped Geno Smith.
from the
punched him in
groping,
the
grabbing,
face.
and jerking. God, Eli Manning is benched for the first time in his career since shortly after Obama was elected president. He will not be starting a game this Sunday. Geno Smith, and all the talent that he is, will be starting. Let's just go ahead and talk about this a little bit, fellas. The Giants are not good. They're very ungood this year. They're 2-9. They don't have Odell Beckham this year. They pretty much suck. They have no shot whatsoever of making the playoffs. But you're also benching a guy like Eli, which a lot of sports analysts seem to think is one of the most clutch quarterbacks of all time. In fact, in 2 different articles I've read, he comes in more clutch over Joe Montana. Now, 1, do you agree with that? And 2, do you agree with the benching of Eli right now?
How do they measure clutch?
yeah, clutch him what?
Clutch in the fact that even in what seemed to be mediocre seasons, they won the Super Bowl on 2 different occasions, beating what seemed to be unbeatable teams at that time.
Yeah, both
That's what
those teams
defines-
had good defenses.
Some of the Giants, or
Yeah, in 07 and 011, the Giants' defensive line is what won them that Super Bowl.
they were also losing in both those games at one point in time. Came back, won the Super Bowl. Against
yeah,
2
and if
teams
Brett
with better
Favre
records.
didn't throw a dumbass interception against Corey Webster, the Green Bay Packers would have beat him.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, look, this is just what I'm reporting. But what I'm saying is, anyways, Manning is benched now. So one, you're not agreeing that I guess Manning is. You don't think where do you think he stands? I guess let's start with that on the most clutch quarterback of all time.
Maybe above Joe Flacco.
Above Flacco.
Well,
Yeah.
what do you mean? I just want to know what the matrix is for clutch. Is it just someone that doesn't fuck up in the fourth quarter, or someone that can
somebody
Clutch. This is the wrong
Ma-
use
ma-
of the word. Totally.
makes comebacks.
Oh yeah, it's somebody
Good at
that,
pulling
that-
off comebacks.
It's somebody that does something really good just in the nick of time to make.
Basically, a
something happen.
fourth quarter hero that can win the game. Late, you're
Fair
down.
enough.
You're down. Like you're it's bomb the ninth type of situation. You got to hit a home run.
He's
type of
very
dude.
he's very publicized about it because if you look at his playoff history, he's made a lot of huge playoff victories. And I'm not just talking about the two times beating Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. He's beat both Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, both in Lambeau Stadium, which are never easy feats. Lambeau Field, whatever. He beat them both over there over at Lambeau. The guy's always been a very clutch quarterback, I guess you could say. So I mean, in the rankings on two different articles that I read, one of them being from ESPN, was that they had him as the most clutch quarterback of all time, and ESPN all across the board is very furious about this whole Manning being benched for Geno Smithing. I see two sides of this. I do. Yeah, I mean, it is a little insulting because we're not talking about Eli Manning as like, some kind of whatever quarterback like fucking Jay Cutler. This is Eli Manning. The guy has, when it comes down to it, is a two-time Super Bowl MVP champion. Like,
Yeah.
he's won, he's had a lot of great seasons. It is what it is. I mean, I know fantasy players aren't stoked to have him, but whatever. The guy has won 2 championships. And he's been bitched in favor of Geno Smith, who's like not good, I guess. Like you could say like, he's not good. He's a very underwhelming quarterback. I've never seen anything about him that's impressing. I think the most impressive thing I ever saw him do was beat the Saints a long time
Wasn't
ago
that
when
guy
he was with the
spelled
Jets.
by Mark Sanchez at one time?
Yeah, he was. So I mean, I don't know. But at the same time though, I see the other side of the coin. The Giants are 2-9.
This is the worst I've ever seen the Giants play football.
Yeah,
the worst.
the-
They stink.
The Giants are 2-9. I mean, there is nothing Eli
They
can
are
do.
bad.
Yeah, they're horrible. There's nothing.
The Jets are better than them. The Jets supposed to be the worst team in the league.
The Cleveland Browns are only 2 games worse than the New York Giants are right now. Like, I mean,
So I do understand it. In fact, I think if you were going to bench him, you would have to.
Kyle
do
Miller
something.
says Mark Sanchez is an elite quarterback. Continue.
I'm just saying something was going to have to happen. You know what McAdoo's trying to
So
do?
that wasn't CJ.
McAdoo wants to stick around. Because McAdoo is pretty sure he's going to get fired, so he's going to make
Yeah.
a few points
Oh,
before he
that dude
does.
is hella fired.
I mean, he looks like a pool cleaner. I get it, but
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing else to say with that. But no,
But he looks like a bull cleaner.
But I can understand why he felt the need to do something because that team is shit.
He not only said that he's going to start Geno Smith this week, but he also said they're going to look at the other backups. In other words, he's pretty much waving a white flag right now and just saying, you know what, fuck it, let's just see what else we got on this
Sounds
team.
like he's already moving on from Geno before he even gets a start.
Yeah, I mean, he said that. Like,
I think they're trying to get that #1 pick. They're hoping that Cleveland might win a few games.
which I mean, looking at Cleveland's schedule, it doesn't look good for them.
Josh Gordon's coming back. Josh Gordon gives them a weapon.
Huh?
I don't think it's gonna work that way. He might. I mean,
He's
I know
a weapon.
you're happy that you got him in fantasy now.
I mean,
but
yeah. I mean, no,
it's not-
the Giants, they're just doing this because, I mean, they're going to get rid of Eli anyway. And they actually offered Eli
yeah,
the opportunity to start each of these games, and they basically just replace him. That way his streak continues.
Yeah, I heard about that. He said
which
no.
he was like, no, that's pointless and stupid. And
Damn it! What the fuck are you doing, Schreiber?
you can barely see this right now, but Schreiber's so angry about this situation, he's trying to destroy the studio. He's throwing around lampshades.
I'm
he
so
definitely-
mad Eli's not starting
Yeah,
a
he's-
quarterback.
Yeah, he got upset, man. It's not like we know what
No,
Geno
the
Smith
beer
is.
fridge is right next to one of our lights, and I kind of knocked it over by accident.
Eli Manning to the Jags is actually a rumor that's been going on for a while, which they thought might happen at the trade deadline this year. The Jags are a legit quarterback and maybe one receiver away from being a Super Bowl team right now with that defense and the running game. The Giants, they don't want to win, so they're like, screw it. We'll just bench the one guy that might be able to squeak a win out. We'll put in Schmoface and.
But how did it come to this? How did their team just end up being so horrible? Even
mean,
without one guy, fair
That's what I
enough.
was gonna
But
say,
one guy doesn't play defense.
Well, I mean, it's not the first time we've seen this in the NFL. Sometimes teams just have mass. I mean, you don't see what the.
I disagree though, because when your offense is doing good, it keeps your defense off the
But
field
but,
and they play better.
but this is one player
They're getting smoked though. It's not like
and a receiver for that matter.
they're getting like blown out of the water.
And I mean, yeah, and you're right. Yeah, they're getting their asses kicked up and down everywhere, and it's not. I mean, even with OBJ, I mean, what was
That's what I'm wondering. I don't know how much better they would have been with
Yeah,
him,
what was the
honestly.
record? What was the Giants' record last year? They weren't a playoff team, right? Like, did they make the playoffs last year? I don't
think
believe so.
They did.
They did?
Pretty sure.
The Giants?
Pretty sure.
Anyone out there know?
I don't. I
I'm
don't
pretty
remember.
sure they made it.
Well, then I stand corrected, but
That's why a lot of people thought that they were going to be the division winner this year. You know, they were like looking at, they had a somewhat decent draft. They thought Odell Beckham was going to come in. They had Brandon Marshall. You know, they thought between Marshall and Beckham that they would be dynamic with the receiver position. They got the kid Evan Ingram, who's actually a good player. That's the only player on fantasy that I would like. I mean, a lot of people.
I dropped all my Giants players a long time ago.
A lot of people like Orleans Darkwood just out of the fact that he's the only one getting carries, but they've been without a decent running back since forever. I don't know. They just need to move on. They need to separate. Eli needs to go somewhere else to maybe get another ring. So really, I don't know.
yeah, I mean, because this is a bad drop off for a team like the Giants. Like, you know, especially considering we're talking about during the Eli Manning era over there, they've had 2 Super Bowl victories against arguably one of the greatest franchises in modern day NFL history, and here we are at 2-9. Here we are at 2-9 right now with the Giants, which some Giants fans and some sports fans in general would not look at this as the worst thing in the world. You're gonna get a good draft pick next year and all that stuff. But at the same time, I mean, when you're that bad though, one draft pick is not probably gonna fix that. I mean that's why I always get a little worried if I was a fan of a team that does that badly. Like one draft team is not gonna, their draft pick is not gonna fix that.
One draft class will though.
Fair enough, yeah, a draft class if you draft smart. But in other words, if the Giants continue down this path, I mean, there's only so many games left in the NFL this season. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're probably not going to win very many more games this year, especially with Geno Smith. I mean, let's call him like we see him. God, that guy sucks.
They're not going to win no matter who their quarterback is.
Yeah, they're not going to
They
win.
stink.
Yeah,
They're the worst.
They're not going to get. So in other words,
This stinks.
If the Giants want to get back to where they were, just even a few years ago, this next draft is going to be probably one of the most important drafts that the Giants have had in many, many years. Mm-hmm. Maybe the last 10, 15 years, I'd say.
Yeah, probably.
So yeah, Giants fans, no pressure, nothing. Just don't fuck up in the draft next year. And I guess good luck to the rest of the games.
Yeah,
I guess I mean, if Geno Smith kills it, then I mean he's good trade value, but I doubt that's gonna happen. So
What?
They
I
play
know,
the
right?
Ravens this
It almost
weekend.
felt silly saying that. It almost felt silly saying that.
Hey, Gino. I mean, he can do it.
What is it with you and bad quarterbacks, CJ?
Dude, I like Cutler because he gives no shits. I told you that.
Yeah, you did tell me that today. Jay Cutler has a very well. I mean,
He just never knows that. He just doesn't seem like he knows he's playing football and just doesn't.
No.
care.
yeah,
He's like- he just
you're
shows-
right. He doesn't know like he's.
I do
playing
not
football.
disagree.
He just shows up. He's like, "Oh, is this what I'm doing?" All right,
So
whatever.
just throw this way.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter
okay.
which team. Okay, cool. Well, I got
Yeah,
you.
that's what I do. Oh, all right. I bang my Laguna Beach chick, whatever her name is.
He's a groper.
Yeah,
The
no,
bet
nah,
yeah, Jay Cutler's got to be a groper.
no way. Cutler's not a groper.
The best performance he ever had in his NFL career was when he made a cameo on the league.
With a cutlet?
Yeah, with the cutlet.
Yeah.
That was a good episode. His acting was real. It was a lot better than his quarterback playing was. So yeah. Anyways, moving on from the Giants, that totally sucks for them.
I don't care. I hate the NFC East. And I hate every team in the NFC East. And I hope they all lose.
Well, aren't you just a bowl of roses today?
I mean, I'm just sick of seeing them on like national TV, which I'm happy they finally like flexed the Giants versus Cowboys game to put in the Duval Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Seahawks.
Yeah, because we never see Saints games here.
I mean, that's
Well,
local.
because they're
Believe me, I know it's local. Every fucking time I turn on my TV on Sundays, a fucking
Hey,
saint
can you
running
at least
around,
say that our games
sainting around somewhere.
our games are at least enjoyable to watch?
No, they're not all enjoyable to watch to me.
And
Some are okay.
And that, and I mean,
Yeah.
like you control that one all you want. Like it's gonna happen. It's local
Mm-hmm.
television.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It still doesn't change the fact that I fucking see a Saints game every time I turn on the TV.
You should be lucky that you watch a Saints game every week.
Should I?
Yes,
I
we
mean,
have a great team to watch.
You need to-
regardless of if we win or lose.
They are a great team to watch. But however, moving on to our next topic,
We watched.
Saints,
We were watching at the same time on the internet with each other on the group chat.
The New Orleans Saints, their 8-game winning streak came to a crashing end in the.
I was poking
Fine
at you
City
guys
of-
here and there.
Yeah,
during that
there were
game.
some pokes.
there was some there was some of that going on.
I'm not going to make an excuse, but I'm going to make an excuse. We were out of our top 2 cornerbacks, and for some reason, Sean Payton forgot that he had Kamara on his team. between the
We
second
remembered
and
for
third
a
quarter.
minute for the beginning.
Yeah, he did. He was like,
In the
"Oh."
end. In the end, he remembered the beginning of the end.
He's like, shit, I got this guy on my team. Fuck it, I'm going to play him. And
Yeah, it made no sense, but I mean the Saints did look a little out of sorts. I mean, CJ, you were saying a couple days ago to me that they were trying to like force Mark Ingram in there because he's had such a good season this year, but
yeah, man.
they were just kind of forcing him. I mean, Mark Ingram did get a touchdown. They got called back on a penalty.
There's a
Whatever.
lot of penalties in that game.
There was a lot. I mean, I think that was outside of Alvin Kamara not getting the calls. I thought that was the Saints' biggest problem in that game was the penalties.
Yeah, well, everything was
Tons
a
of them.
problem. Play calling, execution, penalties, turnovers.
Special teams
Uniforms,
Their uniforms are solid.
logo,
This guy over here.
the home stadium,
We were
the
in
entire
LA.
city of
What
Little.
are you talking about?
Whatever. I'm talking about the Superdome,
The Superdome's fun. You've been
the
there.
Mercedes symbol on the Superdome.
You're acting like you don't enjoy games there.
I enjoy the food.
food's
No, it's
nice.
fun time. It's a fun time.
Like that.
I wanted to go last month.
Even Bobo gave up in a trolling moment, like right there. I mean, he's like, yeah, you're right. You know? I'm like, yeah.
Actually-
the food is pretty good, you know.
Who
like-
they play next week? I was
We
actually.
play,
the
we play
Carolina
the
Panthers.
Panthers this week.
Yeah,
Who was one of these games during December? I was wanting to go, but I can't remember which it is now.
In Tampa,
It's
they're
a
only
shit game.
$37 to go to Tampa.
shit game.
Did they play the Jets?
The
recently?
Jets,
We
yeah.
play the Jets,
They play
yeah.
the Jets, yeah.
That's it. That's the one I wanted to go see.
The Jets will probably beat us. They're one of those teams that just will probably beat us randomly. But hey,
I think the last time
as
we
I
played the
said,
Jets,
man,
we
like,
lost,
if you would have told me that we'd be 8-3 at this point in the season,
Yeah,
in the
you did a good
beginning,
job.
I mean, we're doing.
Yeah, they definitely made a good mark. I mean, considering,
yeah.
you and I at the beginning of this year, I mean, I'm always the hopeful Saints fan that was kind of holding on to hope and stuff like that, but we both were just like, God damn it, here we go again.
Yeah, I'm still not emotionally invested.
I think he is starting to get emotionally invested now. He just doesn't want to admit it on live internet
Live
television.
internet
but
with nobody watching. That's fine.
we got 3 people watching right now.
Yeah, that's like all 3 of us. I will tell you that the Packers almost pulled off an upset, man.
That was a good game.
Dude, yeah. Antonio Brown killed it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brett
Yes.
Hundley looked pretty good, hitting Devontae Adams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they players keep saying that he has that in him. He's pretty good, one of the better ones they've seen. But
Jordy Nelson's fallen off the face of the earth. No one's seen him.
yeah,
Sure.
some white guys are hard to throw to in football. You either can or you just can't.
Yeah.
You have to know that weird timing.
They,
little
they either
two-step
dominate.
thing they like to
Like
do.
Adam Thielen's doing okay. He's a white dude.
Well, it's just sometimes hard to match up with them. Like you know.
They're sneaky.
Well,
Sneaky.
They got a good motor. They're shifty.
yeah, it's just it's a shifty, weird square walking that they kind of do. You know, it's actually no, I am kind of enjoying the rise of the white receiver.
Yeah, I mean,
He's kinda cool.
We had Wayne Cabret for a while.
Yeah.
He was like,
Wayne Cabret.
That
Quebec.
thing in Minnesota, dude, man, he's money. I have him in like 3 fantasy leagues.
yeah, Chris Hogan's been
Got him
dead all
cheap.
year.
Got him cheap, man, and just friggin' just start him in every league I'm in. Haven't only took him out for bye weeks.
Speaking of fantasy, we have a huge matchup this week between the Underground Pub Show. We're in a 14-man PPR league, and the 3 of us are fighting for that last playoff spot.
Yeah, it's
We all started off at the top. Remember that?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now we're not.
Well, actually,
Yeah, we-
you
we-
guys did. My team looked awful, and then I made, thanks to Deshaun Watson, I made a fucking like crazy comeback in that league, and then he got hurt, and
I think we were all like 3-0 at one point, or like doing okay. Now we're all 5-7.
Yeah.
So we're trying to like back our way into this playoff.
yeah, that is an aggravating fantasy league right there, man. That is it's a 14-man keeper league, and my team out of nowhere did really well last year to where it basically screwed me out of getting a good draft pick, but I didn't win anything. So yeah, it didn't do well for me at all, and I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
It's all right. I mean, it's fantasy. Fantasy
league is really annoying, really fucking annoying. But yeah, anyways,
it's the same fantasy league that Shriver took Lance Moore in the 3rd round, like a few years ago.
A few years ago, that was like what?
You took,
8 years ago? Like
I'm still never gonna forget that you took Lance Moore like in the 3rd round.
4th round, but yeah, 4th round pick was Lance Moore. Yeah, that happened. It was my first year playing fantasy.
Yeah, you did okay.
I still didn't finish in last place.
Well, there you go.
Thanks to Tim Tebow.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I picked up Tim Tebow on the waiver wire, and he actually got me out of last place. So thank you, Tim. I apologize for even putting you in that conversation about gropers. You're a good dude.
I beat Salbino, so hopefully I'm gonna not get the
last place.
Sacco.
The Osacco.
Yeah, I think you're gonna miss that because CJ's got that guy this week and he's gonna beat him. So
yeah,
easily.
And then I finally dropped CJ Anderson. It was a hard one to drop,
but decisions had to be made.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I feel bad. I liked him.
So before we finish up with the show tonight, we're gonna move off of sports for a little bit. CJ, I guess you had a pretty bummer of a movie night last night.
Yeah, man. Freaking
Explain.
Murder at the Orient Express. I was gonna see that or Justice League, and I saw Murder at Orient Express, and that's boring, man. Apparently, it's a remake. I never saw the original. I never read the book, but I mean, after about I don't know, like 30 minutes of nothing happening.
Like you have to tell us you didn't read the book.
Yeah, I mean, I read. Murder happened. The whole guy with the mustache interviewed people the entire time.
Is it Hercule Poirot?
Yeah,
Is that who
Hercules Poirot.
Sounds like
whatever
a
his name
groper.
was.
Johnny Depp's in that movie, isn't he? Like
Super.
I mean, I
groper.
don't want to spoil it for you, but yes, he's in it. And
Fair
there's a
enough,
big twist at the end, and I didn't care. I just wanted to leave. I spent like $1 billion on popcorn, which for some
have you
reason,
ever been to the movies before?
dude, they were like low on popcorn, so they're actually yelling like, "Hey, anybody not getting the popcorn, get in the non-popcorn lane." And then they tricked me into like wanting this huge ass like pretzel, but they're out of it. So it was just like a whole bunch of concession teases.
That concession stand at our local movie theater is shit.
Dude, yeah, they actually had hot dogs this time, but
Did they?
yeah,
Did they? Amazing.
they had hot dogs, and I don't know. Tuesday, I guess, is like the half off night, and don't go to movies on Tuesday.
It's,
And the movie's boring. It was just you can Redbox
that's
it.
so crazy because I've heard it's really good, but
Yeah, okay, like I don't mind slow paced if it's actually leads to something good, and it's actually like interesting. But oh man, I was trying so hard not to fall asleep. It was such a boring movie. Like
just not good. Just not good
no,
quality movie.
like literally, finally something happened. And it like woke me up because it was a big loud noise. I was like, oh my god. I really wish I would have seen Justice League.
we are talking about the same guy that fell asleep during an NFL football game
Correct.
twice. That I've been with you on 2 games. You've fallen asleep in them.
Yeah, but it was really hot the first time. The second one, we were just losing really badly.
So in other words, it's easy. You fell asleep in a stadium full of 80,000 people on 2 different occasions.
I did fall asleep during Doctor Strange IMAX too.
CJ, were you drinking at the movie theater?
No.
Were you drinking at the football games?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so fair enough.
That's fair.
I Redboxed that movie. What's it called? The Hitman's Bodyguard the other night. That was actually pretty good. I liked it with Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson. You guys seen that yet?
No.
No.
Another one, y'all. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
The Disaster Artist comes out this week.
Yeah, it does.
That's
Ryan
going to be the
Reynolds,
best movie
super
of the
groper.
year.
What's that?
Ryan Reynolds, super groper.
See, no, I because people love him so much right now. I just don't see him as being a
Right, those are the ones that always turn out.
But he's like supposed to be this good looking guy in like Hollywood and stuff like that. He's doing the Deadpool thing and stuff. I'd be shocked if a girl got really upset by being groped by Ryan Reynolds.
Adam
Like,
Scott would be very upset. If he was a groper, I'd be upset. Adam Scott from Parks and Rec, Step Brothers, him. Like I'd be upset. He seems like a nice guy.
Wasn't he married? Also married to Never mind. That's a different girl.
Well,
No.
married apparently doesn't have anything to do with it, but
Yeah, you can grope if you're married.
yeah.
No,
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying. I just thought
was
Specifically.
I thought it was a
Yeah.
connection between him and Ryan Reynolds, but I realized Ryan Reynolds did date her too. They both dated the same blonde chick.
No, the Hitman's Bodyguard. I dug
What
it.
blonde chick?
Samuel L. Jackson did great in
The
it.
girl from
Blake Lively,
no, she's in Waiting with Ron Reynolds.
Anna Faris.
Didn't she date?
She's married. She was married to Chris Pratt.
Oh, never mind. You're not talking about Chris Pratt.
Yeah, no, Chris Pratt was married to Anna Faris for a little
Yeah,
while.
there first used to date Ryan Reynolds. That's what I was going with
Yeah.
it, but you weren't talking about Chris Pratt.
Ryan
You
Reynolds
said
also
Parks-
dated Alanis Morissette.
Oh,
Bet you didn't know that.
It's like 7 degrees of Dave Coulier.
Yeah, right. There was one thing I really liked about the Hitman's Bodyguard. Like, and spoiler alert, if you don't, I mean, it's not really a spoiler, but it's just something about the movie. Samuel L. Jackson says the word motherfucker a lot in the movie, which he tends to do in just about every movie he's in.
Bullshit. I don't believe you.
Yeah, I know, right? And there's a scene where Ryan Reynolds' character gets really, really upset with him, and he's talking to a bartender, and his exact words, he says, "This guy has literally ruined the word motherfucker for me forever." And it's kind of funny because I feel like if you were actually around Samuel L. Jackson that much, I could see that happening.
I don't say that word like pretty much ever.
I mean, dude, Samuel L. Jackson says it all the time in his movies, but he says it an extra amount in this one. Regardless, I like the movie. Bubba, have you seen anything recently that you were
movies?
pleased or not pleased with?
No, I think I mentioned the last thing I went to, didn't I? What was it?
The last movie you saw was that war movie that you said was one of the best movies you ever seen.
No, I thought
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk, but I thought I saw something after Dunkirk. No, I went to see a movie by myself because all my friends are late. When did I go see?
You saw Justice League, didn't you?
No,
You still haven't seen it yet?
no, but I saw something. Thor.
That's
Thor
right,
was
yeah.
a fun time.
It was a fun time.
That's what everyone
Fun
keeps telling me.
time.
Like, it wasn't really good. It wasn't really bad. It was fun. It was a fun movie. Like,
It was fun.
Yeah, it's a movie that you can go with your girl and have fun.
cool. I'll just wait until it comes out on Redbox.
And then you have fun at the house.
There you go. Exactly. Which is always fun.
All right, well, that should
Supposedly,
be-
supposedly Jumanji is supposed to be good. Is that?
Oh
that's what we're
yes,
hearing,
I was
right?
going to mention that Jumanji, as I mentioned in our fuck movies group.
Yeah, I mean,
that movie looks fun too.
it
people
actually,
are
it
saying
actually
that
does look fun.
It's
like,
a fun movie for the family that everyone can enjoy. You're not forced yourself to laugh because and it's just
actually funny.
it's just fun. And when you realize that it's all basically once they realize they're video game characters, they all have their video game abilities. I watched. I'm laughing right now. I watched a 5-minute trailer on like all their abilities. And no, it's part. If you watch the trailer, you can put
I
together.
don't watch trailers because of shit like that.
Well, you've been spoiled.
I mean, the Infinity War trailer.
But
came
like
out.
I'm just gonna say one person has his weakness is cake, and it says weakness cake.
That's
And they're
gotta
like,
be
what does
Jack
that
Black.
mean? And then eats some,
But
ends up
Ja-
eating
Ja-
some
Ja-
cake, and you're like, isn't your weakness cake? And he's like, I feel great. And all of a sudden, 2 seconds later, he explodes.
That's
And it's like a huge explosion,
well,
like a video game. You're like,
Jack
what the
Black's
That's
fuck?
awesome.
Jack Black's character is actually being played by like some super hot high school chick.
Yeah,
right?
and she
yeah.
she ends up because the name is called Sally, and they realize
Yeah,
Sally
yeah.
was actually
Now,
a
well,
professor.
He's like, I'm an old middle-aged man.
Now, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is in this movie, who's, I guess, the big star. Well, they're all pretty big stars. Kevin Hart and Jack Black are in it, too.
It's
but
a pretty good lineup. And
Yeah,
then the girl,
it is.
the girl is she is Nebula from
From Guardians?
Guardians. That's Nebula,
Yeah.
and she's also the one of the assistants from Doctor Who series.
what else? Bubba, me and you were talking about this literally a week ago. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is in this, and then he's got another big movie coming out next week that is actually based on a video game, but the most random of video games, and it's Rampage.
Yeah, I'm just going to act like it's
Rampage.
not happening.
Well, it's happening, man.
No, it's not.
There's a trailer. My son really likes it. And it's got a giant ape in it, which we don't see in movies very often.
It's cool. That's if kids like it.
And a
Yeah.
giant
Then that's
alligator, which
great
we
for
don't
them.
see very often.
But I won't be watching it.
Is The Rock the new Arnold? Is it official?
Is the Rock the new Schwarzenegger, the Governor?
I mean, he's definitely taking his role. Even though
Yeah.
the thing is, though, he's not.
But
doing
he's not
summer-
shutting his mouth.
Summer movie is done. There's no summer blockbuster, one man engine movie. Like Schwarzenegger or Stallone, whatever. There's no that one man. Tom Cruise goes out there on the July and everyone goes see that.
Yeah.
That's done.
Yeah, it's sort of like
Comic book movies destroyed that.
It's sort
Yeah.
of like in wrestling. Remember how back in the day you'd watch wrestling on a Saturday and it'd be like the famous guy against like a jobber, like a nobody,
Yeah.
and they all wore the same gray, bland outfit and shit.
Yeah.
And then their views started going down. So then shit like Monday Night Raw came out where it was like all big names against big names and shit. You know what I mean? They have to up their game or else they're going to lose money. You know, that's the same thing.
Yeah, so the summer blockbuster days are done, but The Rock is not doing it that way. He's just jumping in with other people too, like you're seeing now. So I mean, yeah, some of those Disney projects. I think him and Vin Diesel have to do a certain amount of movies for their companies that they're
I
with.
feel like he shows up and people are gonna see it just because he's in it.
So Rampage. I mean, just judging by what you've seen, it's got, for the record, it's got Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who plays Negan in The Walking Dead, who has become out of nowhere this huge famous actor. A lot of people think Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I've actually read this. They believe that he's
spoiler alert for a few years ago.
Yeah,
I'm not even there yet, and I know
a lot of people think that Jeffrey Dean Morgan has become one of the new great villains of our time, like right there with Anthony Hopkins of Silence of the Lambs.
He's also in Supernatural.
He is in that too, but I'm not getting into that debate. He's in Rampage. It looks like he's like a not favorable person, aka a bad guy.
He's a private detective in The Good Wife.
So he's the comedian in Watchmen.
So anyways, are we?
He's also in Grey's Anatomy.
Are we expecting? Really, was he in Grey's Anatomy? Because everybody is. So
no, he was in a coma and then he died and then he like hung out with a chick from Knocked Up, blonde chick.
No, that's not the same guy. That's a Harvey Bardot that you're thinking of.
No, I mean he was like hanging with her. Like, she was seeing him.
What happened to her? Why is she not acting anymore? I just don't like her.
Because she was rude to Seth Rogen and Judd Apatow.
Who cares?
And they use their Jew powers to, like...
I guess so, because she is, like, done in Hollywood, man. I haven't seen that poor broad in a while.
Yeah, I forget her name.
What was her name? I can't remember her name now.
Heigl. Katherine Heigl.
Katherine Heigl. She was everywhere, and now she is nowhere.
Yeah, she's nowhere.
Poor blonde lady.
She was good in Grey's Anatomy for a while.
She had a TV show and she's like a special ops girl, but then it only lasted for 5 episodes, and then the Jews took it off the air.
She had some titties.
She left Grey's to pursue a movie career that never really happened.
Yeah.
Well, she tried, but the Israelis wouldn't let it happen.
No, she pissed off the Jews. That's what happened. She pissed off Rogen and Apatow.
Man, I don't watch Grey's Anatomy, so I have no idea what y'all are talking about.
I don't watch it either.
So you never seen
so Homegirl's just pissed all these people off, and I guess it's
not
well for her. Like,
apparently she's rather demanding. Oh, an actress that's demanding, crazy. And
so at the end of all of this, Rampage with Mr. Negan,
Janie Briggs from None Other Teen Movie is also in Grey's Anatomy.
Not Another Teen Movie somehow comes up in all this, like, because that movie was so amazing.
Dude, she's got ponytail and overalls.
Love me.
Glasses.
Oh, the girl from Napoleon Dynamite with the sideways ponytail. She's also in Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, she is. You know, Grey's Anatomy.
Her and Pedro go on a
This
date.
is why we try not to talk about movies on this show, because it just becomes a free for all of. Hey, remember this movie and that movie?
In Grey's Anatomy.
Not Another Teen Movie and Grey's Anatomy?
So what you're saying is the dumb conversation's okay when you're driving it.
By the way,
yeah, exactly.
Joe's in last place in the Coyotes League, and if he continues to get, if he doesn't win this week, and the guy and Flying Burritos doesn't lose by 70 points, Joe has to travel back to Pensacola and wear women's clothing downtown for an entire night. I
forgot that we were doing
that.
That's
gonna be a good day when that happens.
That is awesome.
That's gonna be a good day when that happens.
So Joe, I mean, not only does Joe have to do that, but he has to drive all the way from Dallas.
Yes.
To put
that's like what, easily a 10-hour drive, right? Like.
Just to
it's a lot longer drive that needs to be done to wear a women's dress.
It's a big inconvenience to lose fantasy football.
So we're gonna take video.
That is definitely happening, right? That's going on the Underground Pub Show if that happens.
We'll put it on. We have to get Joe on. If he gets officially the guy, we got to get on the show the Wednesday before the week. Hopefully, we can get on the show beforehand
and then
just chat with him about how it's going to go down.
I completely forgot all about that, man.
It's pretty.
This is awesome. This made my night.
That's gonna be fun to watch.
We have to pick the I guess the person with the best record gets to pick the outfit.
That's me.
That's you. I forgot to mention that to you. I'm going to tell you. You get to find the outfit.
I'm going to leave that up. I'll be the final judge, but I'll take all sorts of ideas, suggestions. I'll pick the best. Well, I'll pick the best one. This is
he
great.
says it's 95 points, Bobo.
You were prepared. You were not prepared for this.
No, I wasn't. I realized I was in first place, and then you mentioned that. I'm like, oh my god, that makes this even better.
95 points. Basically, Flying Burritos has to, in the middle of saying his lineup, take out all his players. As he's putting all his players in, gets struck by lightning, and then goes and buys a new computer. He gets home, realizes the lightning didn't only hit the computer, it fried every line in the house going outside the main. fix that, then realize that his fuse box is also broken outside. Call the power company, like, sorry, we can't be there till Monday. That is the only way Joe's going to be able to make up 90 points.
You know what's great is Flying Burritos beat me the other week randomly, and that is making this happen.
Yeah, that is definitely making this happen.
Oh my God, Joe, this is awesome.
Yeah, we're looking at some very exciting times here in fantasy football with this show as of now. Thank you for bringing that up, Bobo.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that. Figured that would be worth mentioning.
You always come in with the right information at the right times, very subtly, and I love that about you. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and close it up for tonight. We'll see you guys same time, same place next week on the Underground. Well, actually, I take that back. Yeah,
they're
my shirt says Underground on it. I just realized that.
Previous engagement, it's possible there won't be a show. I'll know at least
next week.
Well, yeah, I'll know by Friday night, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's a chance we might not have a show next week, but the week after that for sure. So we'll keep y'all tuned in on that. So until then, we'll see y'all on the Underground Pub Show here on the PMPK Multiverse Network. My name is Schreiber, CJ Bobo, and our producer Kenny. See y'all later. Deuces.
Shohei Ohtani can change that.
Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time for the Underground Pub Show, right here on the PMPK Multiverse Network.
This is where you pucker up and kiss my ass.